Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and today, let's see, what do we got to discuss? Number one, it's been like a week and a half, 2 weeks since I last recorded a video. It is the Equinox Friday, March 21st. Picked up 2 whiskeys last weekend when I was in Casper. I said I was going to drop some videos last week or something like that. I never got around to that, so they'll be dropping tomorrow. Well, the first video will be dropping tomorrow, which is Saturday. Which let's see, what was that? That was that Bourbon Distillers Edition. Let's see, what else? I put my bitters into their bottles yesterday, which ended up being a catastrophe. I dumped some. I was filling them up here, dumped one down here, and now my carpet smells really nice, like jar anise and cloves, and smells like potpourri in here. It's quite nice. While we were in Casper last weekend, we picked up this. Now, I have to admit, once again, kind of a victim of my own stupidity and eagerness. I saw this ancient age 10, and in my book here, I remember there is an ancient age 10. And let's see if you could see that. It's this one here. Says ancient age 10, and it's a 10-year age stated whiskey, but it rings in at 86 proof. And I thought, oh man, ancient age 10, awesome. And I could only buy it by the 175. They didn't have a 750 anywhere, and it was $29.49. I thought, man, that's really cheap. Well, I didn't think this. Everybody would know. That's super cheap for a 10-year age-stated whiskey. But I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just flying under the radar or whatever. So I bought it. And of course, like I said, I didn't want to buy 175, but that's all I had. But on the next page back, if you look again over here, there's ancient age 10 star, which, again, victim of not reading or paying close enough attention, but I think that's shiesty when you got the ancient age 10 in giant letters, and instead of 10 years, it's 10 star. The other one that's like that, I don't have anymore, but the old Charter, it's another Buffalo Trace, Charter 8, used to be an 8-year age stated, and now it's just 8 on there in big letters. Man, that's kind of a shiesty way to do things. But that aside, we got this here today, and then the next video we're going to do, I finally broke down and bought a Wyoming whiskey single barrel because it was $10 cheaper in Casper than it was here. But so this is ancient age 10 star. It's a sour mash bill. It's 45%, so 90 proof. I did try it the other day. It says it's aged, instead of 10 years, it says here it's aged at least, where is that? Right there. Aged at least 36 months. So this is probably a 3-year-old whiskey. And the fact that the coloring is so dark, I don't know about that either. The whole thing's just kind of, Buffalo Trace, you're kind of BS, man. This genuine sour mash. So it's dark in color. I gotta believe there's food coloring in this. But then to call it bourbon, with Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. I don't know if there's coloring in here or not, but by golly, it sure looks like it is. Age, let's see. By Ancient Age, let's see. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Ancient Age in Frankfort, Kentucky. They're owned by Sazerac. So, yeah, I don't know, but like that's an awfully dark color. Well, maybe it's just because there's so much liquid in there that it looks darker, because when I held it up to the light like this, it's not as dark. But it's only 3 years old. So the whole fact that they call it ancient age, whereas, I mean, I don't know what this is. So it's 2 years old, so it's at least, to call it straight bourbon. See, aged at least 36 months. So the ancient age and the ancient age are the same, but look at that color difference between the two. I don't know. Who knows what's going on there? It's just interesting to me. Can't really call it ancient if it's only 3 years old. But here's what I'll give it. In the glass, it does not have that watermelon rind smell that the ancient age had. It actually has a caramely brown sugar honey nose with just a slight floral component. It has a very Buffalo Trace-esque nose to it. And it's a little bit more there than you would expect, which I like. Now, I did try this beforehand, so I'll say it now and then we'll revisit this comment after we actually taste it. But if you can't get Buffalo Trace in your area and you're, just the standard Buffalo Trace that up until the new distributor came out here in Wyoming, I could get by the case for $19.99 all day, and now this new distributor has just kind of screwed everything over because our liquor stores need to call into the distributor every day, place their orders, and literally the cheaper liquor store here in town has made they're like, we called for 5 hours before we finally got through, and Buffalo Trace was the only thing they could get. So this new system's not working out to benefit us locally, unfortunately. Although there's one liquor store, the very expensive liquor store, I will not be going to anymore here in town. They always seem to have these allocated bottles on hand and stuff. So there's a little questionable stuff going on there, in my opinion. But if you want an alternative, if you can get the ancient age, this is a equivalent to Buffalo Trace at much cheaper. Like I said, I paid $29.49 for 175, and it's basically Buffalo Trace. It I think Buffalo Trace might be 4 years old, so you might get an extra year out of it. But on the nose, this smells exactly the same as Buffalo Trace, in my opinion. Very sweet, light fruit in there. We're going to do a side-by-side with Buffalo Trace, or maybe we'll do that in the next video. What should we say? Let's review this first. In the next video, we'll do a review side-by-side, just kind of comparing the two. But yeah, there's a little bit of corn dust on the back end of that. Mostly sweet notes, a little bit of that floral apple kind of note. I mean, it's Buffalo Trace. On the palate, it's 90 proof, 45%. A little bit of a young bitiness to it, like a young wood bite in there, a little bit of tannic, but it's mostly brown sugar, honey up front, floral. It's nice, it's light, it's easy to drink, easy to sip. It's got no flaws. It tastes a little bit young, but just a little bit. I mean, again, I'm going to do it in the next video. We'll compare this to the Buffalo Trace. I think this is a great alternative at a much cheaper price. If you can find it. Now, this was the first time I was able to find it. Again, which is why I was so eager to jump on it, because I thought it was the 10-year, not the 10-star. But this is the 10-star, and it's equally as good. So go ahead, drop in the comments down below what you think you can find a bottle of this for in your area, and if you've ever had it, what your experience is with it. I will say, maybe on the next, we'll also throw Ancient Age into the mix, just because, go back to my very first couple of videos, I reviewed Ancient Age, and I had a lot of good things to say about it. But this particular bottle, I have not been too enthralled with. It has that weird watermelon rind smell there and taste. There is none of that in this at all. This is just good, easy drinking, cheap bourbon whiskey. So if that suits your fancy, go ahead and check this out, especially if you're hunting Buffalo Trace products. This might be a good, cheap way to go about it. And if nothing else, it's a good mixer. It'll just mix into any kind of sweet drink you want for a cocktail or something like that. And at 90 proof, it has enough ethanol in it to hold up to a lot of different things. So check it out. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. I got a couple of videos coming out on BitChute here. We'll do these ones that I'm shooting today. Also, we'll get those mixed up and put in there. And as far as like YouTube, we're putting these on there. And again, I'm telling you this now, and if you're watching this on YouTube, it's 2025 or whatever. But putting those in there and keeping those going. So, as always, thanks for watching. You guys have yourselves a great day. We'll catch you in the next video where we're going to compare these head to head with Buffalo Trace. Now, like, comment, and we'll say this in the next video. The Buffalo Trace I have is a store pick, but there's really no difference between that. If anything, between that and just a standard off-the-shelf Buffalo Trace, if anything, my store pick has a little more bitter, tannic oakiness to it, which is a flavor component I don't really like, than your standard Buffalo Trace does. So there you go. We'll get into that all next. Stay tuned. So have yourselves a great day. We'll catch you in the next video.